those people really aren't my friends. They're just my friend when they need to be my friend. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. Oh, sorry. Let me straighten this out because it was a little weird. Welcome back. Today, y'all, I want to talk about friends and how many of us have them. Okay. This is going to be a very touchy subject for me because I tend to get really triggered whenever I go onto social media and I see other people, friends, or people who would consider themselves friends with me or consider, us having a friendship. I get really triggered when I go online. I see how they show so much love and, so much love to all their other friends, but I never ever really see them shout me out or mention anything about me, if you will. Man, unless I mention them and then they'll tag me or they'll realize, oh hey, ever since I was little, I've always had trouble with friends. I have an Aquarius in the 11th house. Also in the 11th house is my Saturn. So my relationships, my friendships, all of that stuff is under Saturn, which is like kind of like restrictions, or it's a tough journey for me. Even whenever I was little, I'd never been the kid who had friends come over and spend the night, or I didn't have friends to where my mom was like, oh yeah, you can go hang out with them for the day. My siblings did, but I did not. So this has kind of been an ongoing journey since I was little. As I've gotten older, I've always been in groups, like girl groups, but I never lasted. I ended up getting into it with pretty much everyone in the girl groups that I was in, or like I kind of fell off from the group. Since then, and now we have social media, I really see how people move for their other friends, but don't really necessarily move for me the same. And to be honest, it triggers me. It makes me feel abandoned, or it makes me feel left out. It makes me feel like those people really aren't my friends. They're just my friend when they need to be my friend, or, when they feel like, hey, let me be your friend for right now because I just kind of need someone to go out and eat with me, or I just need someone to come work out with me, or I just need someone to come shopping with me. So let me be your friend today. I don't like the way that feels, man. I don't like the way that feels. I don't know why this is an ongoing issue. Maybe there's some accountability that I need to take. Maybe there's something that I'm putting out that, maybe I'm not allowing them to feel like there's a friendship. Maybe there's something I'm not doing. Maybe I'm not showing up as much as those other girls or friends. Or maybe I'm not as supportive as those other girls or friends. And, I'm open enough to receive that. Maybe it is me. Like maybe there's something about me that doesn't necessarily mesh with what they need in a friendship. I remember when I was young and growing up with siblings, I used to always be upset and cry to my mom like, oh man, they won't let me play with them. And I remember very, very vividly to this day how my mom used to tell me, why do you always need someone to play with you? Go play by yourself. And that kind of stuck with me. Another thing that stuck with me as well is I was in a group of 7 girls in my early college time. And I remember after getting into it with everybody in the group, literally, except for like one of the girls, the one that was closest to the most came and said, Well, do you ever think maybe the problem is you and not us? And for some reason now at my big age of 32, I'm like, that, maybe she maybe she had some right to that. Um, I can be very private about my life. I can, you know, not be as supportive. Like, if you need me, I'm there. But maybe there's something in me that doesn't really feel like I'm really needed during certain times because other people have already covered that space. So I kind of deal with that a little bit. Um, do I want friends? I do. I actually want friends that I have like insiders with. I want friends that I can trust, friends that I genuinely like, friends that I genuinely feel a connection with, friends that I won't feel a certain way after I leave them. I would actually like friends that make me feel excited to go hang out with them. A lot of times I find myself forcing myself to go hang out with certain people. I feel that way because I feel that my energy will be drained. I don't voice these things because I don't want people to dislike me, or I don't want people to take what I'm saying and form some type of malice toward me. I think that friends are special. I think that friends are people you trust and people who you can laugh with and know that if everything literally starts falling right now, I can call that one friend and I can talk to them. And to be honest, I don't have that. Genuinely. I often really care about how people feel about me, so I tend to betray myself. I betray myself by showing up for others when I really don't want to. And maybe they feel that. Maybe people feel like, hey, you really don't want to be here anyway. We can see it, we can feel it. And so, that's, here we are. And I'm getting to a space to where now that I'm older, it's very hard for me to hide the fact that I really honestly don't want to be here. But I'm just here because, you needed me or you asked. I often feel very used by friends, or I don't even know what to call them. Like, I don't even know what to call them. I don't know if they're friends, but I feel very used by people. I feel like a lot of times I'm really only called on when I'm needed. But then when I get online, I see you doing all these things with your friends. You're going on trips, you're going out, you're going out for drinks, you're doing this, you're doing all the things with your friends, your other friends. And then with me, it's kind of like we keep things very mediocre. And I don't know, like I said, maybe I give off a mediocre vibe. Maybe I give off, hey, I can only do this much, so let's do it or not. And that's where I want to take accountability. Like, maybe I'm giving off a vibe to these people, and that's why they hold me at a space where they hold me. And if you guys have like any advice, please let me know down in the comments and like, let's talk about it. If you guys have these issues, if you guys, have had friendship problems all of your life, like, please, let's connect and chat and maybe we can become friends. Not trauma bond, but like kind of hold each other accountable here, because I don't know, I have this issue and I really want to fix it. I don't need a group of friends, but I really would like one or two like really good friends that I can call on and talk to, and wouldn't mind just calling randomly, and I wouldn't feel like I'm invading their space, or I wouldn't feel like every single time I call or when we talk, it's all about you. Yeah, I kind of want to be in the space to where, like, hey, if I need you, or if I feel like I have something that I really need to talk about and I do not want to keep it to myself, and I don't feel like that I have anyone else to call on, excuse me, I want to be able to call on you and talk to you about things. I do not want my closest friend to be someone I'm sleeping with, or, which that's fine. Everyone says, oh my gosh, I'm marrying my best friend. I understand, but I have been longing for genuine connections via friendship, and I've struggled with this my whole life, and I kind of want to just figure out why I'm struggling with this and overcome it. I'm over getting online and being triggered by seeing my friends with other friends and being like, oh wow, our friendship is not like that at all. And then feeling as if I'm not worthy of a friendship, or feeling as if I don't deserve a good friendship, or feeling as if that person really doesn't like me. They're just using me for the time being. And that's really not a good feeling. It's very tough to think about, because you think that you're doing a good job, and you think that you're trying your best, and you're doing your best by always showing up for those people, or always being there when they call or when they need you. But then over time, it's like you get super madly annoyed because they're contacting you, and you know that they're not going to be considerate of you genuinely. So at this point, it's kind of like you're forcing yourself to be in friendships. And I'm not talking about one friendship specifically. I'm just talking about my friendships in general over time. Like I said before, I've always struggled with this issue. And so I just want to know why that is, and what's causing this issue to occur for me. Is there something that I'm not giving that I need to give more of? Is this something that I will forever deal with? Is this something I can overcome? Is this something that has to do with my trust issues? Is this something that kind of is just happening in the now, and maybe I'm being pushed into a space to where I now can just let that go and see what else, is up for me when it comes to friendships? In the past, I feel like in the groups of friends I was in, everyone was always much closer than I. I was kind of like always the add-on. Most times when I come into friend groups, or when I come across a friend, they've already been in that friend group for at least a year. So they already have insiders. They already have jokes. They already know what's going on. If I'm coming up on an individual, that individual 9 times out of 10 already has a best friend that they confide in, they talk to every day, they interact with, they know, they go on trips with, they go out with. And so it causes me to kind of want to keep my guard up, because you kind of already have somebody that you kind of go deep with. So I don't want to go deep with you, because you're not going as deep as I am, because you already have someone that you do that with. So it kind of makes it hard for me to be an open friend at times, because I know that in another friendship, you're already there with somebody. And I don't know, does that make me a jealous friend? Should I be okay with a close friend having other close friends? Is that a jealousy issue? Is that a toxic issue? So many questions. So yeah, like I said, if you guys are having these issues, like, let me know. Comment down and let's talk about it. I would love to interact and see. It is very triggering. It's very triggering for me to think about and see. And every time I see it online, it's like I go on, and then once I see something that I really that like causes internal conflict with me, I'm like crushed about it. Not crushed, but I'm like, man, I think about it for a while, and I kind of like don't let it go. yeah, I just hold on to it. And I don't want to do that. I want to see what my issue is and you know, fix it. Another thing with friends is like, I have a very hard time trusting. I really do. And in their defense, I have a very, very hard time trusting people. I have a very hard time like I don't have a hard time getting to know people, but I have a hard time letting people in. Usually, like, you know, like when we all get together and we do vision boards and most people are like, hey, you know, they'll have like groups of pictures of friends on their vision boards or friends or girls trips and all the things. And no, I never wish for better friends, or I never hope, oh, next year I'm going to be inside of a friend group and we're going to take girls trips. Never been on a girls trip. Never really just been so into friends to the point to where nothing else, you know, really in my life matters. Or I've never confided in someone so much to the point to where I'm like, man, that is my best friend. Like, that's just never happened for me. And I'm finding myself, now that I'm older, seeing that I hold a lot in. And it tends to affect you. It tends to affect you mentally, physically, emotionally. And I'm not saying I need a friend to vent to all the time. No, but I would like a person that I can call and trust that my information is going to stay there and that I won't be judged about what I have to say. And that I'll be fully heard. In the past, a lot of conversations with friends tend to end up being about them. Or when fallouts happen, I just let them happen and I don't tend to rebuild or reconnect or reconcile or whatever. Because I'm the type of person, like, once we fall out, it will never be the same, you know? So yeah, we could try to mend it, but it's not going to be what it was. So it's kind of like, why reconcile? And let me know, like, maybe that's a toxic thing that I deal with. Maybe that's something I need to let go of and kind of shift from. I just kind of would like to understand why I have such a huge issue with receiving, getting, and keeping friends. Like, it's an ongoing cycle, and it's been this way, like I said, my entire life. And I really would just like to know why. Like, what is happening in this area of my life. I used to think like, oh man, whenever I get married, man, like, I'm not gonna have any bridesmaids. Like, my bridesmaids are gonna be my sisters. And then I have like one sister that I really get along with, but not even really get along with, but like we can tolerate each other. So in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even gonna have my sisters be my bridesmaids, because what am I gonna do when I get married and I'm not gonna have anyone on my side like crying for me or being happy for me that I'm finally tying the knot, like, or like, I don't know, like, I just always feel like, why is it such a struggle for me to have friends? Like, it's crazy. Yeah.